All right. Hello, everyone. Glad to see so many people in here. Zach as well. It's very nice to see you in here as well. My internet name is vrugtehagel, which is a bit hard to say for most people. So think of me as Hagel if you want to pronounce it. I like programming. That's really all you need to know. I love the web. And in particular, I love building stuff with Eleventy. It allows me to make things exactly the way I want them to be. Which in Jekyll was kind of a pain in the bum. So I'm very happy I found Eleventy, and I usually use it with Deno, but today we'll do a bit of a how-to, and I'll use npm just for because most people use npm, so it's a better example. I'm not on social media or anything, so you can't follow me anywhere. I do have a website, which is just my internet name.nl. I also published a blog post just now on the talk I'm doing. So if you like to read instead of listen, you can go there and find the text version. It's going to be a little bit different than this, of course, but should be similar in content anyway. If you want to reach me somehow, you can head to the Eleventy Discord, and you'll be able to find me there under the exact same name. Yeah, so I don't really have any slides because we're going to be very hands-on. So I figured only the first slide would really be shown. So this is my intro slide. We're going to pull Notion pages into this website as Eleventy templates so that you can use them in your build process and do exactly what you want to do. Let's start the server. There we go. All right, so the first step we'll do is we'll make sure everything that we have in Notion is ready for the plugin to use. So the plugin I wrote expects a database page with a bunch of pages in it. So I have one hello world page here. Let's create another page. First post. Let's do a foobar description. We'll make it a post. Let's open this in the sidebar. Oh. There we go. So the thing I like about Notion, especially when using them as Eleventy templates, is that it already has this kind of front mattery stuff, like the description or the layout this is typically what you would have in an Eleventy page, and then here is where the content would go. So for the plugin, it kind of pulls in this front matter as front matter, and then the content is content, of course. These are the same items as you would have in these table columns, database columns, if you will. Let's also give it a permalink. First post. All right. So now that we have a database with some pages in it, we want to set up what Notion calls an internal integration. So we go into the menu, and we're going to go to connections. We're going to manage them. Then we're going to go here. These links are also in the plugins documentation, so don't worry too much if you can't follow the clicking around. But we're going to add a new integration. We're going to give it a name. Let's call it Eleventy. We're going to associate it with the correct names workspace. Then we can add a logo if we want, but it's not really important. And then we're going to configure the settings. This is going to be our internal integration secret. This is the thing that you give to the plugin so that it gets API access. Then for capabilities, it really only needs to be able to read the content for obvious reasons. You can give it more access to user information if you want, like maybe you want the email address as like author, avatar stuff, that kind of thing. But for now, let's just say no user information. And I click save, and then I'm going to we'll grab this later actually. But first, we're going to go back here. And we have to, I actually normally forget this step, but not today. We're going to have to add the integration to this database page so that the API key that we receive has access to this database page and all the pages inside of it, not anything else, which is great, actually. OK. Now we've got Notion kind of set up. We're going to head back here for the API key later. But now we need to install the plugin. I've written the plugin for JSR, which is a different registry than NPM, which I get it. It's kind of annoying that it's not an NPM package, but fortunately, it's pretty easy to add even for NPM. So we're going to do npx JSR add instead of npm install. Eleventy-from-notion. There we go. And then it's going to do some stuff, set things up. And in our package.json, we'll see it's added this, and it's added an npm rc to tell npm about JSR. Next up, in our Eleventy config, which is very bare bones right now, we'll do Eleventy-from-notion. We import it from the thing we just installed, Eleventy-from-notion. And then we do config.add plugin, Eleventy-from-notion. And here we have to give it the integration secret. It expects it as a string. Don't actually put the string in there for like proper projects. I'm going to do it now just because it's fast, but you want it to be an environment secret or something like that. And there's actually a default environment secret that it looks for first. So you probably want to set that instead of a string. But in this case, we're just going to copy it and reveal it to everyone in the world, because I'm going to delete it after this meeting. So it's all good. All right. And then the plugin also needs the link to the database. Actually, it only needs this UUID, but I've made it so that you can just give it the whole link. Database. This. And then there's one more thing that we need to give it, which is the schema. We had all of these, we had 4 or 3. I guess it's this. The title is also 1. 4 front matter items: the title, SEO description, layout, link, and we want to map that to front matter. And the plugin needs to know how to do that, because usually you give these columns in Notion a different name than what you would want them to be in Eleventy. So you can specify which ones you want in your template exactly and how they should be imported. So for example, to import, let's start with link. That should be the name in Notion is link, and we rename it to be permalink because that's what Eleventy understands. Next, we can do the layout, which maybe we want to keep it as layout so that we don't need to specify rename in that case. And then we have the first column, which is the title. We called it SEO title in in Notion. So SEO title. And let's say we want this to be a nested key. We want to access it as SEO.title. Then we can give it an array there. And we do the same for description. There we go. OK, now that we have that, we can. Oh, it's doing weird stuff. We can serve. Oh, it's imported 0 pages. I guess it already did it just now. Because if we go back here, we can see this first post that we just did with the content is here. And we've also got a hello world page, which is to show off a bit of the formatting stuff that the plugin does. So this has like a code, inline code, bold text, italic text, a link, a toggle block with some bullet points in it. And here we can see as well, this is a inline code, bold, italic text, a link, and the toggle even as well. Notion supports a bunch of different block types, and these are the ones that kind of naturally translate into HTML. There's also ones that don't really translate into HTML as smoothly, like maybe an embed or something. You'd probably want to specify your own your custom HTML for that, and you can. By default, it supports these, which is good for most basic stuff. But if you want to extend the support, you can do so by providing your own custom formatting, or you can overwrite the default formatting if you want. Anyway, let's go back here, and we'll have a look at how Notion has imported them. So we have these Notion pages they all have a UUID in Notion. They're imported with the UUID as their name. These files are not particularly pretty, but they don't have to be. You probably want some kind of permalink system. In this case, I've just chosen to specify them in Notion. You can also add a data file that generates them with Eleventy computed properties from the title, for example, something like that. You can see it specifies the front matter as JSON. Let's also use some of the data in this layout. For example, the SEO title that we talked about, which actually is not going to work. It's going to say object, object, because Notion does rich text. So we can make the title italic in Notion, and then we probably want some way to reflect that in our Notion, in our Eleventy site. So these rich text objects have a rich property and a plain property. So we can do rich, and then it'll render the rich text. But in the title here, probably we want the plain text, which then strips all of the HTML. So if we have an italic title, this will just render the text in the title, and this will render the EM tags, or however you've defined italic text to render. Let's see, do we need anything else here? We have, yeah, I think that's it. There's also this file, which you probably shouldn't touch, but if you want to if you want to force re-import things from Notion, we can delete this file. Or actually, we shouldn't delete it. Just kidding. That was the one thing I wasn't supposed to do, so we just delete the whole folder. Then we serve it again. Then it's going to say importing 2 pages, importing 1 out of 2, 2 out of 2. There we go. And they're back. What we can do, if we wanted to re-import it, is set this to 0. But either way works. It's probably, if you have some data files in this folder, which is allowed, and that's fine, then you probably don't want to delete the whole folder. So if you then want to of course, if you import them, then you probably want to just set this to 0 to minimize the damage you're doing. It's also something that should be noted is Notion has pretty harsh rate limits. So it allows, I think their documentation says around 3 requests per second. And you can't really import a whole page with a single request. So I don't know how well this plugin will do if you try to import like 500 Notion pages at the same time. It might take 10, 30 minutes, or maybe even longer than that. I don't know. I haven't tried. But that's about it. I don't remember. I don't know if I've forgotten to talk about anything. Let me check, double check. I guess that's most of it. There's some additional options that the plugin takes, but you can find all of them in the plugins documentation, which I should probably also link to somewhere. You know what? I'll just open the blog post here, which also has a link to the plugin. Oh, all right, let's just open it. It's jsr.io at vrugtehagel/eleventy-from-notion. And then, yeah, here's the blog post as well. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Hopefully that was kind of understandable.